All right, y'all, we live right now. I want to see what's going on with the Trump administration's first White House briefing. You know what I mean? I've seen a little bit of it, but let's watch a little bit more in a minute. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. I don't want to watch it from here. Let's go to the White House website. See if they got it up. They don't even have it up on the White House website, so I might have to watch it on there. I would rather rock with Fox News than, hold on. White House briefing. I don't trust these liberal media sources. You know, they'd be like, got him. Hit him with a copyright. Like, I'm not doing that. I'd rather rock with Fox News if I can.
Cabinet nominees, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. It is imperative that the Senate continues to confirm the remainder of the president's well-qualified nominees as quickly as possible. As you have seen during the past week, President Trump is hard at work fulfilling the promises that he made to the American people on the campaign trail. Since taking the oath of office, President Trump has taken more than 300 executive actions, secured nearly $1 trillion in U.S. investments, deported illegal alien rapists, gang members, and suspected terrorists from our homeland, and restored common sense to the federal government. I want to take a moment to go through some of these extraordinary actions. On day one, President Trump declared a national emergency at our southern border to end the 4-year-long invasion of illegal aliens under the previous administration.
That's crazy, too, like an invasion under the previous administration. Somebody said, we live on TikTok, too. Somebody said, Trump doing things that a president should have been doing. That is a fact.
Additionally, President Trump signed an executive order to end catch and release and finish construction of his effective border wall. By using every lever of his federal power, President Trump has sent a loud and clear message to the entire world. America will no longer tolerate illegal.
Shout out to Willing Down the Road. Appreciate you for the gifts.
Immigration. And this president expects that every nation on this planet will cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens. As proven by this weekend.
Which is really crazy. Like, you got to try to get presidents and prime ministers and all these different type of people to accept their own citizens back. It's like, what? That's crazy. Repatriation.
President Trump swiftly directed his team to issue harsh and effective sanctions and tariffs on the Colombian government. Upon hearing they were denied a U.S. military aircraft full of their own citizens who were deported by this administration. Within hours, the Colombian government agreed to all of President Trump's demands, proving America is once again respected on the world stage. So, to foreign nationals who are thinking about trying to illegally enter the United States, think again. Under this president, you will be detained and you will be deported. Every day, American...
Finally, like somebody said that. Like, under this president, you will be detained and you will be deported. Finally. I like that.
...are safer because of the violent criminals that President Trump's administration is removing from our communities. On January 23rd, ICE New York arrested a Turkish national for entry without inspection who is a known or suspected terrorist. On January 23rd, ICE San Francisco arrested a citizen of Mexico unlawfully present in the United States who has been convicted of continuous sexual abuse.
What's up, Jordan? Shout out to you. I see the gift. I appreciate you, man.
Of a child aged 14 years or younger. ICE St. Paul has arrested a citizen of Honduras who was convicted of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor. ICE Buffalo arrested a citizen of Ecuador.
Yo, where's Academics from? Because Academics kind of been... Is he from America? He might need to get up out of America, too.
Who has been convicted of rape. ICE Boston arrested a citizen of the Dominican Republic who has a criminal conviction for 2nd-degree murder. This criminal was convicted of murder for beating his pregnant wife to death in front of her 5-year-old son.
Oh, that is crazy. Like, yeah, these people need to be out of here. Shout out to Adi, I see you in here. Dylan, I see you in here. Yeah, like if people are doing stuff like that, get them up out of the country. Shout out to Livewire, I see you in the chat. Pleasant.
And ICE St. Paul also arrested a citizen of Mexico who was convicted of possessing pornographic material of a minor on a work computer. These are the heinous individuals that this administration is removing from American communities every single day. And to the brave state and local law enforcement officers.
Wheeling said, if they are in the wrong, why is this such a big deal? It's the Democrats, man. Like they're literally fighting for criminals right now. And for them to stay in the country, it's like, what are y'all doing? Like, why are you, like, if you see all of these different crimes that these people are committing, and a lot of them are heinous, regular people would be locked away in jail for many of years. And they're trying to do things like get these people out of the country. And it's troubling to me to see so many people advocating for these type of people to just stay in the country. It's crazy. It's lunacy. It makes no sense to me.
CBP and ICE agents who are helping in the facilitation of this deportation operation. President Trump has your back, and he is grateful for your hard work. On the economic front, President Trump took immediate action to lower.
Alice Harleen said they are lied to. These people are dreamers of asylum seekers when they aren't. Yeah, it's a lot of lies, man.
Costs for families who are suffering from 4 long years of the Biden administration's destructive and inflationary policies. President Trump ordered the heads of all executive departments and
then you got to think, like, you've got like The View. You're going to have CNN spinning this like, oh, it's a human rights violation. You're taking people away from their families. Like, if you commit a crime, you go to jail, you get taken away from your family. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, why is this like, you know what I mean? Like, they just send it. It's not even like they're sending them off to jail in other countries. They're just sending them back to their countries. A lot of these people, like, get them up out of here. Like, if they're here illegally, like, we want legal people here. Like, if you are illegal and you're breaking the law and you committing crimes, like, you need to go back. Why is this so hard? Like, I don't understand it. But then, like, even like this platform, like a lot of, not YouTube, I'm on like TikTok too, but like TikTok, like platforms like that, if you say the wrong thing, like they end up like taking your video and stuff like that. It's just like, you can't really say anything without all of this censorship that's going on. So that's why I'm glad that Trump is in office, so he can try to turn that tide around. We heard Mark Zuckerberg said that he's no longer going to be dealing with all that censorship that they've been trying to do. So we'll see. But it's like the news, they control the airwaves, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of the left, like the right-wing news, I think they've had over the years a reputation of being far right, you know, and so people just expect that type of news rhetoric to come from Fox News. But Fox News, I think as of recent, them with other media companies are kind of like more midline now, more common sense. And so now people are waking up to that, things are changing, but you still have so many different news outlets that are left wing. It's a lot of them, you know, and they've got the minds of the youth. What's up, Froggy Megsy? I see you in here. They got the minds of the youth, you know. So, and then like celebrities or whatever, they try to push the Democratic agenda. So it's difficult to combat all this, like, to be real.
Agencies to help deliver emergency price relief to the American people, untangle our economy from Biden's regulatory constraints, and end the reckless war on
people that's on YouTube, if y'all could double tap, that'd be appreciated, because we gotta try to get this message out here. Shout out to y'all.
American energy. President Trump.
Shout out to Daryl Sanders. I see you with the. Appreciate you for the gift, man.
Also signed sweeping executive orders to end the weaponization of government and restore common sense to the federal bureaucracy. He directed.
So what's going on now? Like, what they got, it's a lot of rumors going around because there's like a federal pause. So what the Trump administration is trying to do is just halt a lot of different things and see whether or not money that is going out is necessary. You know, because during the Biden administration, they've just been throwing money out, sending money out, sending money out, and there's been no real oversight of everything. And we've got a budget, you know, issue like in the United States to where we're just spending way too much money and giving way too much money out. So he wants to try to stop that, you know what I mean, and try to figure out what programs are needed. So the rumor is he's trying to, like, they're going to stop Medicaid, they're going to stop Social Security payments, they're going to stop welfare payments, food stamps, and that's the rumor. And so when she's doing this press conference, like, she's going to go ahead and with the briefing, she's going to reveal like the details of what exactly is going on. So all the rumors and whatever can come to a close. You know what I mean? So
all federal agencies to terminate illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to help return America to a merit-based society. President Trump also signed an executive order declaring it is now the policy of the federal government that there are only two sexes, male and female. Sanity has been...
Which was crazy, like, for the past 4 years. You couldn't even say that on social media. You couldn't even say it. You know what I mean? Like, that is very interesting. You know, that this country got to the point you could not even say that. Interesting.
Restored. Before I take your questions, I would like to point out to all of you once again have access to the most transparent and accessible president in American history. There has never been a president who communicates with the American people and the American press corps as openly and authentically as the 45th and now 47th president of the United States. This past week, President Trump has held multiple news conferences, gaggled on Air Force One multiple times, and sat down for a two-part interview on Fox News, which aired last week. As Politico summed it up best, Trump...
Isn't that crazy? He just sat down for a two-part interview on Fox News, went to North Carolina, went to California, like, did all of this, like, in less than, what is it, 2 weeks? 2 week span? He's been doing all of this. This is crazy, bro.
Trump is everywhere again. And that's because President Trump has a great story to tell about the legendary American revival that is well underway. And in keeping with this revolutionary media approach that President Trump deployed during the campaign, the Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just the legacy media who are seated in this room. Because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low. Millions of Americans, especially young people.
And I don't trust like mass media. Do y'all trust mass media? I don't trust it. Like, no, we need even some independent media I don't trust. So I don't trust it.
Have turned from traditional television outlets and newspapers to consume their news from podcasts, blogs, social media, and other independent outlets. It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025. To do this, I'm excited to announce the following changes will be made to this historic James S. Brady briefing room, where Mr. Brady's legacy will endure. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration.
That's crazy. Like, why were they revoking press passes? That's like Biden administration is like, bro, like, how are they not arrested? They be doing the most, man. Like, this is crazy, bro.
We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news.
Yeah, exactly. So they can hide the truth.
Related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House.
What? I'm about to apply. What did she just say? Bloggers, social media influencers. Anybody can just go ahead and apply. What? Yo, I'm on the next tab over. I'm applying for this. Yo, like what? This is crazy, bruh. This is insane.
And you can apply now on our new website, whitehouse.gov/new media. Starting today, this seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex. So in light of these announcements, our first questions for today's briefing will go to these new media members whose outlets, despite being some of the most viewed news websites in the country, have not been given seats in this room. And before I turn to questions, I do have news.
Hey, all right, so they're asking me for my social media account. Should I do the YouTube? Should I do the TikTok? Which one should I do? Is TikTok kind of blowing up? Let me do it. Let me do the YouTube.
Is directly from the President of the United States. That was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States to start this briefing with some news. And with that, I will turn it over to questions. And we will begin with our new media members, Mike Allen from Axios, Matt Boyle from Breitbart. Mike, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you very much. Caroline, does the president see anything fishy?
Yo, that's it? Bro, they asked me like 5 questions. They asked me like, what's your first name, last name, your zip code, what is your social media site? And then I think that was it. It was 4 questions. Like that was it. Like that's crazy. Yeah, I'm about to be at the White House. Let them accept that I'm gonna be at the White House.
About DeepSeek, either its origins or its cost.
Yeah, which site has the most followers? It's my YouTube. Somebody said Selena Gomez still crying right now. She was putting it on, wasn't she?
And could China's ability to make these models quicker, cheaper, affect our thinking about expanding generation data centers, chip manufacturing?
Sure. The president was asked about DeepSeek last night on Air Force One.
All y'all people in here on YouTube, hit the like button. Stop playing with me. Thug Life, hit the likes.
He gaggled for, I think, the 3rd or 4th.
What's up, Riz? Riz Queen said, did you see my comment about Biden? No, I haven't seen it. Message me again. DM me again. I've been talking to a lot of people, like some news company wants to use like my clip or whatever. So I don't want to say anything until it's like all the way like approved, because they're asking me for like how much I want it. I don't know if I asked for too much, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna try to see like if it gets approved or whatever, like we gonna react to that. But I was very surprised that they reached out.
Time throughout the weekend with members of the traveling press corps. The president said that he believes that this is a wake-up call to the American AI industry. The last administration sat on their hands and allowed China to rapidly develop this AI program. And so President Trump believes in restoring American AI dominance. And
shout out to you. He said, following you, my favorite type of people. Shout out to you. Shout out to, he said it was a good video. Appreciate you. Somebody said, just found your video yesterday. Love it. Said, do you have Instagram? Yeah, I've got Instagram. I think it might be in my bio. If not, I don't know. It's Piperboy_Williams is the Instagram.
And that's why he took very strong executive action this past week to sign executive orders to roll back some of the onerous regulations on the AI industry. And President Trump has also proudly appointed the first.
Wait. So he implemented legislation to roll back to stop the rollback of AI stuff. Like, wait, what?
Restoring American AI dominance. And that's why he took very strong executive action this past week to sign executive orders to roll back some of the onerous regulations on the AI industry.
Why would they like not? All right, so AI is a thing, right? It's gonna happen. It's happening now, right? Why don't we want to be on the cutting edge of that? Why would you just want China and Russia and like all these other countries to have an advantage of AI? Like, yeah, I mean, we understand like there are issues with AI, right? But, at the same time, if it's going to be here and we're going to have AI, we might as well be at the forefront of it.
And President Trump has also proudly appointed the first AI and crypto czar at this White House, David Sachs, whom I spoke with yesterday, very knowledgeable on this subject, and his team is here working every single day to ensure American AI dominance.
AI and crypto czar.
As for the national security implications, I spoke with NSC this morning. They are looking into what those may be, and when I have an update, I will share it with you, Mike.
Carolyn, you say restore U.S. dominance. Is there a fear that the U.S. either is fallen or has fallen behind? And how would
JITC, shout out to you, JITC, I appreciate you.
the president make sure the U.S. stays ahead?
No, the
Mookie said Musk has stated that AI will be the downfall of society, but yet continues to push for it. There are great things that AI does. I think so they've got some research coming out in terms of what's going on with AI to where they can like figure out how to correct certain things that's going on with human genomes or whatever, and they could use it to try to treat some forms of cancer. So if they could do that, I think that would be great. But we know AI is used in, multiple different things. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to end up doing about it. But as far as Elon Musk, he's like involved in like Neuralink and stuff like that. So he's against it, but then he's for it. It's like the yin and yang. Like he's got two different sides to him. Sometimes one side speaks against the other side, you know what I mean? But shout out to Elon Musk.
president is confident that we will restore American dominance in AI.
Yeah, so Caroline, first off, thank you.
I definitely think it needs to be regulated. I don't think AI does not need to be regulated. It needs to be regulated. But it's like, how can you regulate it? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be the problem. Like, how do you regulate AI? Like, just seeing like what you can do with AI, like creating thumbnails and, you can take any video and make the person in the video do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy what you can do now. So I don't know, but like, how can you regulate it? That's the issue. But yeah, you don't want like Taiwan and like all these other countries becoming dominant in AI.
You and President Trump are actually giving voices to new media outlets that represent millions and millions of Americans. The thing I would add, I've got a two-part question for you. The first is just, can you expand upon what steps the White House is going to take to bring more voices, not less, which is what our founder Andrew Breitbart believed in, into this room where they rightfully belong?
Yeah. Absolutely. And as I said in my opening statement, Matt, it is a priority of this White House to honor the First Amendment. And it is a fact that Americans are consuming their news media from various different platforms, especially young people. And as the youngest...
Yeah, that's very smart that Trump... But, the younger media actually helped Trump. He calls it like earned media. Like if you've been showing that you're not like super corrupt and stuff like that, like he's willing to do like a sit down interview with you. A lot of people got interviews with him, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It says AI is thus a computer science discipline that enables software to solve novel and difficult tasks with human level performance. In contrast, an AGI system can solve problems in various domains like a human being without manual intervention. Ooh. So AGI is like low-key dangerous. It's like, yo, it could just solve the problems on its own. Yo.
Press secretary in history, thanks to President Trump. I take great pride in opening up this room to new media voices to share the president's message with as many Americans as possible. In doing so, number one, we will ensure that outlets like yours, Axios and Breitbart, which are widely respected and viewed outlets, have an actual seat in this room every day. We also, again,
shout out to you, Benjamin Sosa. I see you in the chat. I see you. Old Dizzle, he said, do you like the microphone? Like, yeah, like if I'm doing like blogs and stuff. I'm live on YouTube, so yeah, I like it for stuff like that. It's cool.
Encourage anybody in this country, whether you are a TikTok content creator, a blogger, a podcaster, if you are producing legitimate news content, no matter the medium, you will be allowed to apply for press credentials to this White House. And as I said earlier, our new media website is whitehouse.gov/new.
And I've already applied.
Media. And so we encourage people to apply. Again, as long as you are creating news-related content of the day and you're a legitimate independent journalist, you're welcome to cover this White House.
And secondly, Caroline, you said you laid out several of the actions that President Trump has taken. Obviously, it's a stark contrast to the previous administration, a breakneck speed from President Trump. Can we expect that pace to continue as the first 100
Somebody said you need to apply. I already applied.
days moves along here and beyond that?
Absolutely. There's no doubt President Trump has always been the hardest working man in politics. I think that's been proven over the past week. This president has again signed more than 300 executive orders. He's taken historic action. I gaggled aboard Air Force One to mark the first 100 days of this administration, 4 p.m. last Friday. Our first 100 hours, rather.
Yo, y'all got like a lot of likes on here on TikTok. YouTube, they getting y'all, bro. I got like 5,000 likes already on TikTok. Y'all playing, man.
And this president did more in the first 100 hours than the previous president did in the first 100 days. So President Trump, I think you can all expect for him to continue to work at this breakneck speed. So I hope you're all ready to work very hard. I know that we are. Zeke Miller.
Thanks, Caroline. A question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room...
Martell123 said, I appreciate your political views. I was under the Democratic spell for years. Keep the content coming. MAGA. Good luck on everything. Shout out to you, man. Yeah, it's difficult not to be under that spell depending on where you grew up in, you know what I mean? And what news stations dominate the area. It's hard, man. Like sometimes we just indoctrinated to believe certain things. So like it wasn't until I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, I started seeing the Republican way of how like a state operates. And then, I decided to stay here because I felt like it operated better, like for the people.
Speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as advocating on behalf of the president or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people. And that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
And Caroline, just on a substantive question, yesterday the White House Office of Management and Budget directed an across-the-board freeze, with some exceptions for individual assistance, we understand, to federal grants. It's caused a lot of confusion around the country among Head Start providers, among providers services to homeless veterans, Medicaid providers, states saying they're having trouble accessing the portal. Could you help us clear up some confusion,
Yes.
give some certainty to folks? And also, how does that uncertainty service the president's voters?
Well, I think there's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty in this building. So let me provide the certainty and the clarity that all of you need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear.
All right. So like I was live talking about something completely different and somebody sent a super chat and they were just like, yo, Trump is doing away with Medicaid benefits and Social Security benefits and food stamps and all of that. She just literally said that's not the case.
To any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good.
Shout out to Alice Harleen. She said, gotta show that love. Appreciate you.
Stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across.
Shout out to Smith 166. Appreciate you.
Our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again.
NIC Smith, shout out.
People who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Thanks, Caroline.
Sure.
How long is this pause going to last, and how is the Trump administration recommending that organizations that rely on federal funding make payroll, pay their rent?
Somebody in the YouTube chat said, how the heck did Joe Biden get away with doing nothing for all of these years? I don't know, man. People were shooting him bail like, oh, he don't have to do this, he don't have to do that.
Meantime.
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board. And if they feel that programs are necessary and in line with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration.
Yo, it's like, if Joe Biden did anything, he would mess it up, like mess whatever he was doing up. So it's like you want him to do stuff, but it's like at the same time, you don't want him to do anything because you don't want him to mess something up worse.
Spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country.
Yo, she said they were spending money like drunken sailors. Yo, what? What's up, Anthony?
And it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding, at least for a period of time?
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working. And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration.
That's crazy. That's crazy. She said there's a hiring freeze because we want to like go ahead and make sure that the people's tax dollars are being used appropriately, is basically what she's saying. I've never seen a president in my life with some policies like that for the American people. Let's not just hire anybody and everybody. Let's only hire people that need to be hired because Americans are working hard enough and we don't want their money going to waste. Yo, that's crazy. Shout out to Trump.
You know, just during this pause, DOGE and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know.
They're about to send them another $37 million. Like, what? That's crazy.
President Trump, with the swipe of his pen and that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line.
That is fire. You see how he's like slowly, I can't even say slowly reducing the deficit. He just like cutting everything. Yo, shout out to him. If it's not necessary, we don't need to be a part of it, just to be in some little club that don't nobody like.
And with the president's agenda. Doge and OMB also found that there was a
Call me Sunshine. Thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate you.
about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is for.
Yo, that's why people don't be wanting to pay taxes, bro. It's just like, yo, what? I'm about to pay all this to give all my money. Y'all doing what? And that's crazy.
Focused on being good stewards of tax dollars.
And so this doesn't affect Meals on Wheels or Head Start or disaster aid?
Again, it does not affect individual assistance that's going to Americans.
To follow up on Nancy, do you think there will be a list of who is affected and how much money is affected? How will these contractors and organizations know if they are actually having their funding frozen? And then secondly, if you're willing, can you just clarify, is the end goal of this to essentially challenge Congress or to prove that the president can withhold federal funding? In other words, is this an attempt to pick a fight to prove that he can do?
Yeah, our national debt is so big, I can't even like, I don't even know. Like, I'm looking at all these numbers. I don't even know what they mean. What is that? $7 trillion and yo, what? This is crazy, bruh.
No, absolutely not. As it says right here in the memo, which I have, and I'd encourage all of you to read it, it says the American people elected President Trump to be the president of the United States and gave him a mandate to increase the impact of every federal dollar. This memo required...
Yeah, they were spending like millions of dollars like for condoms in Gaza. That's crazy.
Federal agencies to identify and review...
When is the last time you said, okay, like, I think this is where my tax money should go? Like, what?
All federal financial assistance programs and supporting activities consistent with the president's policies and requirements. The American people gave President Trump an overwhelming mandate on November 5th, and he's just...
Let me show y'all this national debt. This is crazy. I'll show you the debt clock. Look at that, man. I'm on YouTube. This is crazy. U.S. national debt. What is that? Like, what number is that? That's a big number. That's crazy.
Trying to ensure that the tax money going out the door in this very bankrupt city actually aligns with the will and the priorities of the American people. So will there be a line?
Yes. Welcome.
What is that? 36 trillion? Like, I don't know what that is. It's a lot.
Great. You're doing a great job. You talked about transparency, and some of us in this room know how just transparent President Trump has been the last 5 or 6 years. I think you'll do the
I
same.
had somebody say, you think Ukraine will give us a refund?
My question is, do you think this latest incident with the president of Colombia is indicative of the global, powerful respect they have for President Trump moving forward, not only to engage in economic diplomacy with these countries, but also...
It says deficits in CBO's projections, the federal budget deficit in fiscal year 2025 is 1.9 trillion. Adjusted to exclude the effects of shifts in the timing of certain payments, the deficit grows to 2.7 trillion by 2035.
World peace.
Absolutely. I'll echo the answer that the president gave on Air Force One last night when he was asked a very similar question by one of your colleagues in the media. This signifies peace through...
These countries take advantage of us. Well, we spending tens of millions for that in Gaza. That's crazy, bro.
Strength is back. And this president will not tolerate illegal immigration into America's interior. And he expects every nation on this planet, again, to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens who illegally entered into our country and broke America's laws. Won't be tolerated. And as you saw, the Colombian government quickly folded and agreed to all of President Trump's demands. Flights are underway once again.
I want to see her take questions to see how she responds.
Two questions on deportations, if I may. President Trump had said on the campaign trail that he would deport pro-Hamas students who are here on visas. And on his first day in office, he signed an executive order that said, quote, "The U.S. must ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the U.S. do not bear hostile attitudes towards its citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles." So should we take this executive order as Trump saying he would be open to deporting those students who are here on visas but, hold pro-Hamas sympathies?
The president is open to deporting individuals who have broken our nation's immigration laws. So if they are here illegally, then certainly he is open to deporting them. And that's what this administration is hard at work at doing. We receive data from DHS and from ICE every single day. From what we hear on the ground, ICE agents are feeling incredibly empowered right now because they actually have a leader in this building who is supporting them in doing their jobs that they were hired to do, which is to detain, arrest, and deport illegal criminals who have invaded our nation's borders over the past 4 years. That's what the president is committed to seeing. Peter.
Very quickly, just following up on the question on immigration first. President Trump, during the course of the campaign in 2024, said the following about illegal immigration. He said, "They're going back home where they belong, and we start with the criminals. There are many, many criminals." NBC News has learned that ICE arrested 1,179 undocumented immigrants on Sunday, but nearly half of them, 566 of the migrants, appear to have no prior criminal record besides entering the country illegally. Is the president still focused exclusively, which is a civil crime, it's not criminal?
Federal crime.
So I'm asking though. He said he was going to focus on those violent offenders first. So his violent offenders.
Bro, like they all need to go. What is he saying, bro?
There's no longer the predicate for these people to be deported.
The president has said countless times on the campaign trail, I've been with him at the rallies, I know you've been there covering them too, Peter, that he is focused on launching the largest mass deportation operation in American history of illegal criminals. And if you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal. And so therefore, you are subject to deportation.
I apologize for interrupting. So to be clear, it's not violent criminals do not receive precedence in terms of the deportations taking place.
The president has also said two things can be true at the same time. We want to deport illegal criminals, illegal immigrants from this country, but the president has said that, of course, the illegal criminal drug dealers, the rapists, the murderers, the individuals who have committed heinous acts on
YouTube comments, hit the like button, stop playing. Thug Life. Somebody said, Piper Boy, you should sign up for the White House press. I already did it. I did it on the live. Like, I didn't like do it in front of you, like, you know what I mean? Like showing like my personal information, but I already did it.
The interior of our country and who have terrorized law-abiding American citizens, absolutely, those should be the priority of ICE, but that doesn't mean that the other illegal criminals who entered our nation's borders are off the table.
Understood. Then let me ask you a separate question about the confusion that still exists across the country right now as it relates to the freeze or the pause as it's described. President Trump, of course, ran one of the key policy items was that he was going to lower prices, lower the cost of everything from groceries, as he often said. But in many of the cases, it would seem that some of these moves could raise prices for real Americans on everything from low-income heating, that program, child care programs. Will nothing that the president's doing here in terms of the freeze in these programs raise prices on ordinary Americans?
What particular actions are you referring to that would...
I'm referring to LHEAP right now. That's the low-income heating program, for example. We can talk about... There's no clarity, so I could refer to a lot of them. We don't know what they are specifically. Can you tell us that LHEAP is not one of those affected?
So you're asking a hypothetical based on programs that you can't even identify. What I can tell you
just to be clear, since you guys haven't identified, let's do it together, just for Americans at home.
Oh, she kind of sassy. She's like, oh, so you're asking hypotheticals about programs you can't even identify. he's like, hold up, like I'm just, this is her first White House briefing. So she kind of like, her adrenaline is probably running, like going through the roof. So she don't want to hear no opposition to anything she said. They probably told her before she get up there, make sure if anybody give you disrespect, go in. Let them have it. Make an example of them on the world stage. And so she ain't, hey, you ask her a question, she don't like it, she firing off.
Medicaid, is that affected?
I gave you a list of examples: Social Security, Medicare, welfare benefits,
Medicaid,
food
right.
stamps that will not be impacted by this federal pause. I can get you the full list after this briefing from the Office of Management and Budget. But I do want to address the cost cutting because that's certainly very important, and cutting the cost of living in this country. President Trump has taken historic action over the past week to do that. He actually signed a memorandum to deliver emergency price relief for American families, which took a number of actions. I can walk you through.
Whoa, he did that? Shout out to Trump, bro.
This briefing from the Office of Management and Budget. But I do want to address the cost cutting because that's certainly very important, and cutting the cost of living in this country. President Trump has taken historic action over the past week to do that. He actually signed a memorandum to deliver emergency price relief for American families, which took a number of actions. I can walk you through those. He also
Yeah, I want to know what that is. Price relief for American families. Like, what is that? The memorandum. Let me, hold on, memorandum on. Trump order didn't reverse all of Biden measures to lower drug costs. What? It's like, go you gotta use like a, I don't want to say that, you know what I'm saying, like a different search engine, because like if you look for stuff on Trump with some of these search engines, it's just like they try to pull up negative stuff. It's insane. You know, they're just, the first thing that pops up is like CBS. Like, really? Paying for Trump's tax cut could lead to big changes for taxpayers. Here's what could be done. It says a key economic priority for President Trump this year is to extend the previous of the provisions in the Signature Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, a 2017 law that lowered tax rates for most Americans before they expire at the end of 2025. Now, Republican lawmakers have developed a 50-page laundry list of ideas for how to pay for those planned cuts. The plan from congressional Republicans published earlier by the New York Times was confirmed by a person familiar with the document, who noted that it represents a menu of policy options for lawmakers to consider. The document also cites several new tax breaks proposed by Donald Trump while on the campaign trail last fall, such as eliminating taxes on overtime and tips, but extending the TCJA's provisions along could prove costly, with the Congressional Budget Office forecasting a cost of $4.6 trillion over 10 years. Adding new tax breaks, such as Mr. Trump's promise to ditch taxes on overtime pay, could push up the bill even higher at a time when the nation's debt has spiraled to more than $36 trillion. Yeah, it's spiraling because of Biden. CBS, y'all be capped out, bro. Like, CBS don't even want us to get no taxes on overtime. Like, y'all is crazy. Like, yo, why y'all be fighting that, bro? Oh, if they don't tax overtime, we're looking at a 4.6 trillion over 10 years in cost. And like, come on. According to the document, hold on, they got a lot of ads keep popping up. Some ideas for funding those tax breaks include eliminating the mortgage home deduction, a popular break for homeowners, and the deductibility of student loan interest. Other methods to drum up more money include an across-the-board 10% import tariff, essentially a universal tax on U.S. imports that would be paid by consumers. The plan also outlined, like, I don't understand this, right? Like, why do y'all want to, like, okay, so if Trump wants to go ahead and do away with taxes on overtime, they're like, okay, then we're not going to let you, you know what I mean, get tax breaks on owning a house. Or if y'all want to do that, then if you have a student loan, you can't claim those taxes. It's like y'all always go to, like, try to take something from like Americans and something that people need. Like, why do they be doing that? Why can't they just say, okay, we're not going to give $50 billion to X, Y, and Z country? Why can't they just do that? But no, Trump's plan is going to cost money. We're going to have to take away more things from Americans. Like, that's crazy. If he wants to do like the tariffs, oh, but it's going to cost consumers more. It's like, come on, man. The plan also outlines ideas for cutting federal spending, primarily by trimming outlays for Social Security safety net programs such as Medicaid and food stamps. Overall, the document points to a potential tax overhaul that could put more money in the pockets of wealthier Americans while cutting assistance for low and middle class taxpayers, experts say. If you are extending the tax cuts and enacting tariffs and cutting Medicaid, that will deliver benefits more among higher income households, and more of a cost will be borne by lower income households. Like, they just, bro, anything, bro. This search engine is insane, man.
Also repealed many onerous Biden administration regulations. We know over the past 4 years, American households has been essentially taxed $55,000 in regulations from the previous
So
administration.
they're basically saying, like, if he does like no income tax, right? Mortgage interest deductions can be taken away. Head of household tax filing status can be taken away. American Opportunity Credit. This is a $2,500 tax credit is given for educational expenses amassed over the first 4 years of a person's higher education. Revoking it would save $59 billion over a decade. The Child and Dependent Care Tax Credit. This credit will help families with young children pay for up to $2,100 in annual child care expenses. Waiving it would save $55 billion over a decade. You see how they just like want to come at like things that people need instead of just like, yo, maybe we don't need to be giving Gaza condoms and spending like $34 billion or a million. Like, you know what I'm saying? They not thinking like that. Maybe we don't need to be spending $400 million a year on if whales speak at a certain frequency. You know what I mean? It's like certain things. It's like, what is more important here? Just ridiculous. They like, no, we're going after the mortgage interest deductions. We're going after the child and dependent care tax credit, the student loan interest deductions, the lifetime learning credit. Like, we're going to take those taxes away from you. And that can save, and that can offset the income tax. Like, it's like governments, how they play. You know what I mean? Like, they want to, they give you a little bit and they take something away. They take something away and they give you a little bit. It's like a balancing act to where they never really give you anything in government. So it's like they're trying to resist. Like, Trump is saying, like, yo, I really want to do away with the income tax credit. They're like, but this would cost Americans. Yo, this is crazy, bro.
President Trump, with the swipe of his pen, rescinded those, which will ultimately put more money back in the pockets of the American people.
Yeah, I'm going on DuckDuckGo, man. This website crazy.
So deregulation is a big deal. And then when it comes to energy, I mean, the president signed an executive order to declare a national energy emergency here at home, which is going to make America energy dominant. We know that energy is one of the #1 drivers of inflation. And so that's why the president wants to increase our energy supply to bring down costs for Americans. The Trump energy boom is incoming, and Americans can expect that.
Please share that out. Thank you.
Caroline, I think some of the confusion I think may be here with this pause on federal funding. You've made it clear you're not stopping funds that go directly to individuals, but there certainly are lots of organizations that receive funding and then may pass along a benefit. Meals on Wheels, for one. They provide meals for over 2.2 million seniors. What is the president's message to Americans out there, many of whom supported him and voted for him?
Yo, DuckDuckGo, like, way better. It says Donald Trump abolishing income tax, what we know. It said President Donald Trump has suggested that imposing tariffs on foreign nations, a key, y'all got so many ads, bro, popping up. A key part of the administration's agenda will bring back wealth to Americans, not income taxes. America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly, he said during a speech at the 2025 Republican Issues Conference at the Trump National Doral, Miami, in Florida on Monday. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens, he added. So exactly, DuckDuckGo, thug life! See, DuckDuckGo telling you like what it is, bro. It's like, yo, Trump is... But then, like, if you look at another search engine, I'm not going to say the name, but if you look at another search engine, he's going to be like, oh, this is terrible. This is bad. This doesn't make any sense. He's just trying to make the wealthy rich. That's what these other search engines do. But when you go on DuckDuckGo, they're like, no, this is what he said. And this is how he's going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I like DuckDuckGo. That's why I'm going to rock with DuckDuckGo from now on. It said, why it matters. Last year, CNBC reported that during a private meeting in the midst of the presidential campaign, Trump floated the idea that if elected, he might eliminate the federal income tax by creating an all-tariff policy. Yo, and then President McKinley had tariffs. Like, maybe they would work. Because we're paying income taxes to enrich other countries. That is what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, we just... They were just talking about, you know what I mean? Like sending like millions and millions of dollars to Gaza for them to have the, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And then sending people tens of millions for little silly nominal things. So our income taxes is being used to enrich other countries. Why don't we just do tariffs? You know what I mean? It said Trump later publicly confirmed his intentions of eliminating the tax. If what I'm planning comes out, he told barbers in the Bronx, New York, back in October. Several experts spoke against the idea back then, expressing concerns over the way it would impact the federal government's revenue. Among them was David Kamen, a professor of New York University School of Law, who wrote on X that broadly substituting tariffs for income tax is a sure way to hit hard, low, and middle income Americans and reward top earners. Said on Monday, Trump mentioned with a certain nostalgia a past where the U.S. had many more tariffs on goods coming from foreign nations and did not have an income tax. A lot of people don't realize, like back in the day, like income taxes was just supposed to be for the rich. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, like how they were saying they wanted to raise, like Kamala Harris is like, okay, well, what I want to do is do, what is it called? It's like a tax of, like, you could make money. You know what I'm saying? Like a, I can't remember. It's like a could earn like tax. You know what I mean? Let's just say it's a capital gains tax to where like, even if you don't sell the stock, but you could sell the stock and make money, she would end up taxing you on that. Is what she wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So what they wanted to do is do that for people that make $10 million plus a year. You know what I mean? But if they were to pass that, eventually that would trickle down to regular Americans, just like income tax. Income tax was not supposed to be for us. It was supposed to be for the rich. Once they got it passed and it went through and it was for the rich, it started trickling down and then we got hit with the income tax. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy. And then somebody said, why also pay other countries? Hold on. Let me get that. Yeah. Somebody said, well, also pay other countries where we have military bases to help protect them when they should pay. Exactly. It's like, how are these countries extorting us? Not only are they extorting us, they're using our military. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Are concerned that this is going to impact them directly, even if, as you said, the funding isn't coming directly to their wallet.
I have now been asked and answered this question 4 times. To individuals at home who receive direct assistance from the federal government, you will not be impacted by this federal freeze. In fact, OMB just sent out a memo to Capitol Hill with Q&A to clarify some of the questions and the answers that all of you are asking.
Yo, I got 10,000 likes on TikTok. That's crazy.
Me right now. Again, direct assistance will not be impacted. I've been asked and answered about this OMB memo.
And then somebody said we also pay other countries where we have military, but yeah, exactly. And then in the comment section, we got people saying on YouTube, if you think Trump cares about anyone other than himself, you are delusional. Even though everything he's doing is showing you that he is working. Yeah, that's what it is. William Dutton, unrealized capital gains tax. So she's basically saying, oh, you could make money. It's Kamala Harris. You could make money. So because you could make money, we're going to tax you. So then when they start putting that on regular Americans, that's what they would probably end up doing. It would happen like later on. That's what I think they would do if she would have won. Then it'll be like, oh, it'll start trickling down to your house and all the, oh, you could sell your house. You know, if you were to sell, you would be able to make this much. So we're just going to tax you on that. Like they would eventually start doing, like Kamala was wild, bro. You know, oh, well, there, and then people are arguing for, well, it's just going to tax the people that make 10 million or more. Yeah, but what do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to keep paying people the same salaries, or you think they're going to lower the, you know what I mean, what they pay people? Like, these are the people that are creating the jobs. Like, why do people hate the people who create the jobs? That make absolutely no sense. You're not creating jobs. Like, if they already have the companies, they already have the jobs, you kind of want to make their lives easier, I would think. You know what I mean? So they can loosen restrictions and start hiring more in some of these companies. You don't want to just tax them more and more and more. They're going to start taking away benefits or doing things like that's what companies do. Like Kamala is wild.
There's many other topics of the day. Jackie Heinrich.
Indirect assistance, Carolina,
Shout out to Tatum.
going to another organization and then trickling down.
Direct assistance that is in the hands of the American people will not be impacted. Again, as I said to Peter, we will continue to provide that list as it comes to fruition. But OMB right now.
Jason said, you are not worried about, normally I would, if you're going to be subversive, it'd be a super chat or whatever, but I'm going to read this, right? He said, you're not worried about you or me. You're worried about guys making 10 million or more. The guys that are making 10 million or more have the companies that affect you and me, right? So if like they have companies distributing goods and, you know what I'm saying, these may be the companies that are the food, you know what I mean, distributing companies, they can raise and lower prices, which can hit you at the grocery market, right? Or if you know, commodities or different things like affect prices, or like jobs and hiring, that's affected. Don't just think because they got $10 million, you know what I mean, they make over 10 million a year, they don't have anything to do with anything. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, like, I get it. Like, people don't like people that make a lot of money. That's what it is, jealousy. You know what I mean? Like, I get people get jealous of that, but these are the people that move things around. You know, you don't want to just be taxing them like crazy. You don't. If it's unnecessary, you don't want to do that.
Now is focused on analyzing the federal government.
Exactly. The companies provide the jobs. And then JB said, I love how Democrats say we are delusional, but everything Trump has done at this point has been what we elected him to do. Joe Biden and Harris destroyed our economy in 4 years. Everything he's been doing, Trump has done, has been what we wanted him to do. He did it all in like almost all of it in 45 minutes. How many executive orders did we see him sign in 45 minutes? I've never seen nothing like that before in my life with any president I've read about in history. He did it in 45 minutes. Not only did he do that, he's continuing to do things. And everybody is complaining, oh, the federal government is spending too much money. The federal government is overblown. He's like, all right. Well, we about to do a federal pause. We about to see where this money is going. Are these departments necessary? Is what he's doing. We're not stopping Social Security, Medicaid. We're not stopping like none of them programs, food stamps, things that people need. We're not doing that. They're still, if they're getting paid on an individual basis, that's still going to happen. This is what this lady is talking about. That is still going down. But everything else, we need to see where this money is going. And what is she saying? She said the American people work hard to pay taxes. They do not want money just going out the window. And they were able to stop $32 million from going out the window just now. Don't you want them to keep doing that? He's literally doing what you elected him to do. Why is this a problem?
spending, which is exactly what the American people elected President Trump to do.
And one question on immigration, Caroline, on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so.
And everybody's like upset. Oh, well, there's illegal immigrants coming in here. They're flooding into the neighborhoods. They're committing crimes. They're in Colorado, taking over apartment complexes and forcing them to pay them their rent and doing all of this. And the state and local governments don't want to do anything about it. He like, all right, well, I'm getting with time. We're getting them up out of here. Getting the plane, locking them up, getting the planes ready, sending them out. What are you complaining about?
So far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
Yes, all of them. They illegally broke our nation's laws, therefore they are criminals. All of them gotta go. If they're illegal, talk to them. I'm not mad at her. Yeah, tell them what it is. I am tired of these politicians playing politics to the point of not even making sense. She like, they all illegal. Thug life, they gotta go. Hey, and then the dudes try to play semantics and like, oh, well, what if the people that really create, commit more crimes and all, like you come over here, you not coming over here, right? You are illegal, period. I like that she's saying that.
There's this administration.
And then we got Crazy said, great press briefing today. Entering the United States without proper documentation is a crime, period. And then Movie Corner said, love your video, appreciate you. And then Listen said, liberals will be happy. Trump supporters are getting everything we voted for. Everything. Everything I wanted. He either already did an executive order or he getting ready to do it. I'm having a problem trying to think of more things I want him to do because he's done so much already. So like, I don't know, man. Like, and it's only been 2 weeks. Imagine what he's going to do in 4 years.
Goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You made one point, the worst first. They all have a criminal record.
And welcome to the briefing.
If they broke our nation's
Hey, man, somebody said, I didn't even realize you was the crying dude. I don't have the hoodie on.
laws, yes, they are criminal. Yes.
Thank you. On stripping security details for figures like John Bolton, Pompeo, Brian Hook, Senator Tom Cotton said that he's seen the intelligence and the threat from Iran is real for anyone.
Hey, y'all on YouTube, you gotta hit the likes, you know what I'm saying, or I'm gonna have to stop this because they're trying to slow down the video.
Who played a role in the Soleimani strike. He voiced concern it wouldn't just impact those individuals, but potentially their family, innocent bystanders, friends, anyone who's near them when they're out in public. Is the president open to reconsidering his decision?
The president was asked and answered this yesterday, and he was firm in his decision despite some of the comments that you had referenced, and he's made it very clear that he does not believe American taxpayers should fund security details for individuals who have served in the government for the rest of their lives, and there's nothing stopping these individuals that you mentioned from obtaining private security. That's where the president stands on it. I have no updates on that.
Wait, hold up.
American taxpayers should fund security details for individuals who have served in the government for the rest of their lives, and there's nothing stopping these individuals.
I think they probably talking about Fauci because Fauci's security details stopped. But Fauci's like millionaire. Like he can afford his own security. Why is my tax money paying for his security?
Reconsidering his decision?
The president was asked and answered this yesterday, and he was firm in his decision despite some of the comments that you had referenced, and he's made it very clear that he does not believe American taxpayers should fund security details for individuals who have served in the government for the rest of their lives, and there's nothing stopping these individuals that you mentioned from obtaining private security. That's where the president stands on it. I have no updates on that.
Is there any concern that this decision might jeopardize the administration's ability to hire the best advisors for these kinds of positions in the future?
No, in fact, I've talked to the Presidential Personnel Office, who has told me directly that there is such an influx of resumes for this administration that it's incredibly overwhelming. There is no lack of talent for the Trump administration. Reagan,
Would he take any responsibility if anything happened to these people? Would he feel at all that his decision was a factor in that?
the President was asked and answered this yesterday. I defer you to his
Thanks,
comments.
Caroline.
Reagan, since you're in the back,
What kind of old media question is that? Like, oh, well, he basically saying like, yo, you're not about to get like security details for the rest of your life. Like, it's not about to happen. You work for the government for a minute, you out. It's not fair for taxpayers. Well, do you think that the president's gonna feel bad if anything ever happened to those people? I don't think anybody would feel bad if something, you know what I mean? If Fauci stubbed his toe. Nobody would care. It's Fauci. You know what I mean? Like what? Like these old media people, bro.
back row, I hear you. The back row hasn't gotten much attention in the last 4 years, so I'm happy to answer your question.
I can project. Does the president intend to permanently cut off funding to NGOs that are bringing illegal foreign nationals to the country, such as Catholic Charities?
I am actually quite certain that the president signed an executive order that did just that, and I can point you to that.
One more, Caroline. President Trump issued an executive order on increased vetting for refugees and visa applications. Right. Part of that order was considering an outright ban for countries that have deficient screening processes. Has the president considered yet which countries might fall into this category? Are countries like Afghanistan or Syria under consideration for a full ban?
Yeah, so the president signed an executive order to streamline the vetting for visa applicants and for illegal immigrants in this country who are coming, of course, from other nations. It also directed the Secretary of State to review the process and make sure that other countries around the world are being completely transparent with our nation and the individuals that they are sending here. And so the Secretary of State has been directed to...
Exactly. William Dutton, he is a subscriber on YouTube. He said, why did the guy that put something in your arm and he needed a pardon? Like, that Fauci pardon... insane. William, that pardon was insane. When I seen that, and we ended up, William, on the channel, it was 2 days before the inauguration. It was like a few days before the inauguration, whatever. We talked about it and we were just like, I bet he pardons Fauci. All right, I bet he pardons Fauci. I think we were live for like a couple hours or whatever. I'm like, I bet he pardons Fauci a couple of hours before the inauguration. And what did he do? Like, this, Biden is so criminal to me. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Report back to the president. I haven't seen that report yet. We've only been here for a few days.
Shout out to Jen MT315. I appreciate you.
One on the freeze in federal funding. Who advised the president on the legality of telling government agencies that they don't have to spend money that was already appropriated by Congress?
Well, as the OMB memo states, this is certainly within the confines of the law.
Hey, Draco already applied. Seth said because he broke the law. Jason said, Samuel, please explain.
So White House counsel's office believes that this is within the president's power to do it, and therefore he's doing it.
Okay, so they disagree with lawmakers who say that they don't have the power to freeze this funding.
Again, I would point you to the language in the memo that clearly states this is within the law.
And all that happened on Friday night, the administration fired several inspectors general without giving Congress the 30-day legally required notification that they were being fired. I think only 2 were left at DHS and the DOJ. And then yesterday we saw several prosecutors, I believe.
Yo, that's crazy. 15,000 likes on TikTok. Y'all is lit. TikTok is lit, bro. I got like 25 likes on YouTube. Yo, I like TikTok. Shout out to TikTok.
12 fired from the Justice Department who worked on the investigations into the president. As you know, they are career prosecutors, therefore they are afforded civil service protections. How is the administration deciding which laws to follow and which ones to ignore?
So it is the belief of this White House and the White House counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that. He is the executive of the executive branch, and therefore he has the power to fire anyone within the executive branch.
There's somebody, my bad, I got 128 likes. All right, shout out to you. Hey, somebody said they refused the jab, right? The whole Fauci thing. Bro, there are so many nurses that have been fired because they didn't want to get the jab. They didn't know what was in it. Like, it wasn't tested long enough. It's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, then they gotten fired. Like, people that are working in so many different departments and sectors, like in healthcare and like different, like they didn't want to get a jab. Like, no. Some people said like, yo, it's against my religion to do something like that. We don't know what y'all are doing to us. They're like, all right, you don't have to do it, but we control the economy. So you fired. Like, yo, it was doing anything and everything. Like, when you got Bill Gates wants everybody like vaccinated and all that, and he said it. You know what I mean? So it's like they are stopping at nothing to make sure we start getting these things. Like, this is crazy. And then like they weaponize social media. Like, you couldn't even say anything about it. You couldn't even say the word. Like, this is crazy, man.
That he wishes to. There's also a case that would.
And then somebody said they are back paying military that got booted. They should take care of anybody who was forced out.
Before the Supreme Court in 2020, Scala Law LLC versus the.
I'm not mad at that. Like, if somebody got booted out of the military that should not have been booted out of the military, I'm not mad at my tax money going to that. Like, I would rather it go to that than Gaza. You know what I mean?
Systems, Bureau protection. I would advise you to look at that case, and that's the legality that this White House was resting
So
on.
you're confident that if they bring lawsuits against you, the prosecutors who were fired, that they will succeed?
We will win in court.
And
yes.
did he personally direct this, given they worked on the classified documents investigation and the election interference investigation?
This was a memo that went out by the Presidential Personnel Office, and the president is the leader of this White House. So yes. Yes,
Carolina. Thank you.
Hold on, somebody doesn't believe in the chat that Bill Gates is pushing for vaccines. Let me show you something. What is this? Gates Foundation, Vaccine Development and Surveillance. Do you not see this? Like, there's tons of stuff of him even giving speeches talking about like we need to depopulation. And if we do very, very good with vaccines and very, very good, we can get that goal. Like, you don't remember him saying that? It's all over Twitter, him saying it. He's literally saying it. He's got a foundation pushing this. Like, what are you saying? Y'all just be trying to be against everything, and it's being black and white.
Congrats on your first big guy on the podium.
Thank you.
Shout out to GTR.
President Trump.
Oh, he's saying and pushing vaccines and there's no proof. Well, there it is.
Tremendous funding for UNRWA and also designated the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization.
That's right.
Both were decisions that the previous administration had reversed. So here's my question. Will there be an investigation into who gave the previous administration this terrible advice?
Well,
Stephen Hill, he said, don't stop the YouTube videos. I'm not.
that's a very good point. I haven't heard discussions about such an investigation, but it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Once I get like a certain number of subscribers, like I'm just gonna do straight politics. Like, I've got a lot of like entertainment people like on my channel or whatever, but once I get a certain number, I'm just doing straight politics.
Yeah, considering that the Houthis certainly are terrorists. They have launched attacks on U.S. naval ships across
Shout out to Catherine.
this world, and so I think it was a very wise move by this administration to redesignate them as a terrorist group, because they are, and I think it was a foolish decision by the previous administration to do so. As for an investigation, I'm not sure about that, but it's not a bad idea. Josh.
Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Can you give us an update on the president's plan?
Sure reminds me a little bit of Pam Bondi, don't she?
For his tariff agenda. He spoke a lot about this yesterday, and there's a couple of dates coming up that he's spoken to. Number one, February 1st, he's alluded to both the potential for tariffs for Canada and Mexico, but also China to take effect on those days. What's he thinking about that?
Yeah.
Should those countries expect that?
Again, he was asked and answered this question this past weekend when he took a lot of questions from the press, and he said that the February 1st date for Canada and Mexico still holds.
What about the China 10% tariff that he also used about last Tuesday going into effect on the same day?
Yep, the president has said that he is very much still considering that for February 1st.
Separately, yesterday he talked also about sectoral tariffs on, for instance, pharmaceuticals as well as semiconductor computer chips. He talked about steel, aluminum, and copper. What's the timeline on those? Is that a similar sort of coming days thing?
Yeah, so when the president talked about that in his speech yesterday, that actually wasn't a new announcement. That was within a presidential memorandum that he signed in one of the first days here in the White House on his America First trade agenda. So there's more details on those tariffs in there. As far as a date, I don't have a specific date to read out to you, but the president is committed to implementing tariffs effectively, just like he did in his first term.
Finally, he also was asked on the plane when he gaggled about the potential for a universal tariff. He was asked maybe about 2.5%. There was a report about that. He said he wanted much bigger than that. Should we understand that these tariffs would add up? You know, in other words, you might have country-specific tariffs like Canada, Mexico, China. You might have sectoral tariffs like.
I got a question for y'all. Do y'all use TikTok? Because I don't think I like it. I mean, shout out to TikTok. I got like a lot of followers and stuff on there. I don't think I like it. It's like you can't really say nothing on there. I think it's like worse than Facebook, for real. I don't know. I don't think I like TikTok.
On pharmaceuticals as well as a potential universal tariff on top of that. Do these stack on one or the other, or would one sort of take precedence over another?
All I can point you to is what the president has said on this front. The February 1st date for Canada and Mexico, also the China tariff that he has discussed. He rejected the 2.
You said no, sir. Yeah, I don't think I like. I mean, I blew up on there. I don't think I like it, bro. It's like I've done like another TikTok that did like pretty good, and it was like removed, and I'm like, what? And so I had to like appeal it, and then I was like, I'm not dealing with TikTok no more. Y'all can take the whole account, all of that. I'm just going back to my other platforms because you can't say nothing on here. And then they gave it back, like, you know what I mean, the video. So I'm like, all right. So then I went live. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to people, and then the live gets cut. Oh, you got an appeal the live. You know what I mean? And it's like, what? And then like I appeal it, and they're like, oh yeah, you were good. And then I'm like, yo, what is y'all doing? Like, this is not China. This is America. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna rock with TikTok, bro. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that TikTok page, but it's like whack, bro. You can't even say anything. You said YouTube is the American YouTube is way better. It's way better. Like, in so many different ways, it's better. Like, TikTok is cool. Like, they don't pay you nowhere near as much as YouTube. Like, nowhere near as much. So it's like, you be sitting there, you be having like, I got a video with like 3 million views, right? And it's like, you don't make nowhere near what you would make on YouTube, on TikTok. So it's like, they kind of using you, really. And then you can't even say nothing on there. It's like, no, I don't like, they need to just go ahead and ban it, bro. Like, I don't like TikTok, bro. I don't think I like it. It's like, you can't say nothing. It's like, you got to be super. But then, like, if you push anti-America propaganda, they love you. It's like, what? Like, no, bro. Like, I don't think I like it at all. Yeah, it's like pennies compared to dollars. Like, it don't even make, like, realistically, like, all right, so I did like 3 live. We gonna get back to this in a minute. I did like 3 lives on there, and it had like mad people on there, and people was donating everything. And then I looked into, you know, what they take. You know, they take like a whole bunch, and then I'm like, what? I'm like, no, bro. Like, it ain't even like, it ain't worth it.
0.5% tariff. He said that was a little bit too low. He wants it to be higher. I'll leave it to him to make any decisions on that front.
What the Mexicans and Canadians have done so far, do you have any comment on whether that has met the bar, what he wants to see on fentanyl? Thank you.
As Samuel said, I've never had TikTok, Twitter, or any of it. I got Facebook that I check every 2 months. Yo, I think I'm done with TikTok, bro. It's cool. Like it's easy to go viral and stuff, but it ain't worth it, bro. I don't think it's worth it.
I won't get ahead of the president.
You said X pay. It depends. Like William, like if Elon Musk is retweeting you and stuff like that, and you getting like a lot of traction on X, yeah. But X don't really pay nothing either.
Again, on advocating to foreign nations on what they should or shouldn't do to get
That's
away.
why I like stopped posting on there as much as I did. They don't really pay nothing.
From these tariffs, the president has made it very clear, again, that he expects every nation around this world to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens. And the president has also put out specific statements in terms of Canada and Mexico when it comes to what he expects in terms of border security. We have seen a historic level of cooperation from Mexico. But again, as far as I'm still tracking, and that was last night talking to the president directly, February 1st is still on the books. Phil.
Thank you, Caroline. Quick programming note and then a question on taxes. In terms of programming, should we expect to see you here every day? How frequently will these press briefings be?
It is a good question, April. So look, the president, as you know, is incredibly accessible. First day here, he wanted all of you in the Oval Office. You got a 60-minute press conference with the leader of the free world while he was simultaneously signing executive orders. I may add, that's pretty impressive.
Let me tell y'all this, right? So I was just live on TikTok, right? And so the live gets cut. And I'm like, why is my live cut? And so I looked at it. It's like bullying. I'm like, what? Me being like, y'all was just live with me, right? Did y'all see me bullying anybody? And so like while I'm live with y'all, I'm like messaging them like, this is not China. I didn't care. I'm like, this is not China. This is America. We are allowed in America to criticize our government. And at that point, I'm not going to delete the app because I might sell my phone that's got the app on it. Right. But I'm like, I'm not dealing with TikTok no more. And then they just restored it. But it's like, why did y'all do what is y'all doing? TikTok is whack, bro. I don't care. Y'all is whack. I don't care how many followers I got on there now. How many views I got on there now. Y'all can throttle me on TikTok. Y'all is whack, bro. Y'all is terrible. This is America. You can speak here. Samuel said the reason those platforms are a problem is because of what the algorithm has become. It only feeds you things you agree with once politically. I mean, and you never see the other side of things. Exactly. So Samuel, one thing I had to do, right? Like during the presidential election time, I've got 2 TikToks. One, I was looking up Kamala Harris information, and the other one I was looking up Trump information. And you are absolutely right. It's nothing midline. It's just they show you one or the other. One or the other. That's not healthy. I don't like the algorithm. Like I don't like it at all.
I don't think the previous office holder would be able to pull such a thing off. So look, the president is the best spokesperson that this White House has. And I can assure you that you will be hearing from both him and me as much as possible.
And then a question about tax cuts. The president has promised to extend the tax cuts from the previous term.
Yeah, and JB said, Sam, this is true. This is why it's important for you to do your own research. I mean, you're right about that JB, but you try to like look at both sides, but is very biased, bro. Like TikTok ain't, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Cause it's like, I could just use it as a platform to just talk. It's like another platform, but I like YouTube. I think YouTube's better than all of them. Like if I'm being real, like my years on YouTube is way better than those. Like you can go I go viral a lot on Twitter. The money don't add up. It's like, why am I doing it? I've got videos that have like 90 million views on Twitter. And it's like, why am I doing it? You know what I'm saying? It don't even equate. If I had 90 million views on YouTube, it'd be so paid, it'd be ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like it ain't the same.
I'm curious, does the president support corresponding spending cuts as some Republicans have called for in Congress? And will the new Treasury Secretary be leading those negotiations with the Hill as Mnuchin did during the first administration?
The president is committed to both tax cuts and spending cuts, and he has a great team negotiating on his behalf, but there's no better negotiator than Donald Trump, and I'm sure he'll be involved in this reconciliation process as it moves forward.
Caroline, in the announcement that you made last night on the Iron Dome, it said the president had
Yo, I'm not talking about battle rap in here.
directed that the United States will build this Iron Dome.
Yeah.
Respect to y'all, I'm not doing that on that. Like, if I'm talking about politics, I'm talking about politics. If I talk about battle rap, I'm talking about battle rap. I don't want to mix.
Read into the executive order, it seemed short.
Everything Short said, I dislike the character limit on TikTok. I just don't think I like it, man. Like, I don't
that. It asked for a series of studies and reports back from. Can you tell us whether the president has directed this? And if he is just concerned on this issue, why the suspensions that we saw listed by OMB included so many different nuclear programs, non-proliferation programs,
Let me show you.
programs
Like,
to
look.
blend.
This is they say, oh, we've reviewed your appeal and you've been restored. Like, I don't like, bro, you not doing me no favor. Y'all whack. TikTok, you are whack, bro. I don't like y'all. I don't care. I don't like you. Slow me down. Like, I don't care.
Blend down nuclear weapons and so forth.
First of all, when it comes to the Iron Dome, the executive order directed the implementation of an Iron Dome. It also, as you said, kind of directed research and studies to see if or how the United States can go about doing this, particularly the Department of Defense. When it comes to the other question that you asked about those specific programs, again, I would say this is not a ban. This is a temporary pause and a freeze to ensure that all of the money going out from Washington, D.C. is aligned with the president's agenda. And as the Office of Management and Budget has updates on what will be kickstarted once again, I will provide those to you.
Just to clarify for a sec what you were saying before on Medicaid. It wasn't clear to me whether you were saying that no Medicaid would be cut off, obviously.
Bro, I'm about to go live on TikTok and talk crazy about TikTok, bro. Like, after this, I'm going, like, bro, I'm gonna go live and talk crazy about them, bro. Yo, like, I don't care if I got all them followers, bro. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, they whack for that.
A lot of this goes to states before it goes to individuals and so forth. So are you guaranteeing here that no individual now on Medicaid would see a cutoff because of the pause?
I'll check back on that and get back to you. John.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. As you know, in the first week that the president was in office, signed an executive order as it relates to birthright citizenship, trying to eliminate that. 22 state attorney generals have said that this is unconstitutional. A federal judge has just agreed with their argument. What's the administration's argument for doing away with birthright citizenship?
The folks that you mentioned have a right to have that legal opinion, but it is in disagreement with the legal opinion of this administration. This administration believes that birthright citizenship is unconstitutional, and that is why President Trump signed that executive order. Illegal immigrants who come to this country and have a child are not subject to the laws of this jurisdiction. That's the opinion of this administration. We have already appealed the lawsuit that was filed against this administration, and we are prepared to fight this all the way to the Supreme Court if we have to, because President Trump believes that this is a necessary step to secure our nation's borders and protect our homeland.
On foreign policy, Caroline, on foreign policy, if I may, the president's commitment to the...
Bro, I'm about to, TikTok about to experience some of that, bro. I'm about to go crazy on TikTok. I'm gonna go on TikTok and they not gonna like me, bro. They're gonna be like, we done with this dude. Like, bro. Oh,
NATO
man,
Defense Alliance. Is it as strong as the prior administration? Is it the same as when he served as president in his first term in office?
As long as NATO pays their fair share, and President Trump has called on NATO allies to increase their defense spending to 5%. You actually saw the head of NATO at Davos last week on Bloomberg television saying that President Trump is right, and if Europe wants to keep itself safe, they should increase their defense spending. I would just add that there was no greater ally to our European allies than...
I don't think they can do that because they have to have Congress, right? Because that's like an amendment. you know, like birthright and all of that. Like you can't, like, they can't stop that. You know what I'm saying? Unless Congress approves. And Congress was never going to allow that.
President Trump in his first term. The world for all nations in Europe and of course here at home was much safer.
JB Ranger, like I get what you're saying. He said, why do we need birthright citizenship anyway? Just because you are born here doesn't mean you are a citizen. But it's like, it's so much with that. You know what I mean? Like, because you or me, like we have birthright because we're born here. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you would think because our lineage and stuff here, but it's like we born here. So we got birthright. So they would have to really reorganize and rewrite laws and stuff like that to make that, like, to take away an amendment like that. To where it would probably have to say, like, if you had like family that's been here so many generations, you have birth, like, you know, it's just like, you can't just take that away. I mean, I would like them to do that, but it's too difficult to do that right now.
Because of President Trump.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? JB said, right, you would have to have 2/3 of Congress and House.
Trump's peace through strength diplomatic approach.
Thank you, Caroline. And it's great to finally be called on as.
Yeah, like Texas Repo said, if you are born by a U.S. citizen, yes. Like they should, you know, like they could write in something, you know what I mean? But just taking it away, I think is too difficult to do. You can make an executive order. It's like a good faith thing for the Americans to say, I did something, you know what I mean? But he can't really do that.
As well in the briefing room. I appreciate that. Of course, we know President Trump just got back from North Carolina and California meeting with victims of natural disasters. There's the 2-year anniversary of the East Palestine, Ohio toxic train derailment. Does the president have any plans to go visit the victims of that toxic spill or just visit in general?
No plans that I can read out for you here. If that changes, I will certainly keep you posted. What I can tell you is that President Trump still talks about his visit to East Palestine, Ohio. That was one of the turning points, I would say, in the previous election campaign, where Americans were reminded that President Trump is a man of the people, and he, as a candidate, visited that town that was just derailed by the train derailment, no pun intended, and he offered support and hope, just like I saw the president do this past week. It was a purposeful decision by this president on his first domestic trip to go to North Carolina and to California to visit with Americans who were impacted by Hurricane Helene and also by the deadly fires. A red state and a blue state, both of which feel forgotten by the previous administration and the federal government. That is now ended under President Trump. He will continue to put Americans first, whether they're in East Palestine, in Pacific Palisades, or in North Carolina.
Thank you, Caroline. On California, could you please clarify what the military did with the water last night as referenced in the president's Truth Social post?
The water has been turned back on in California, and this comes just days after President Trump visited Pacific Palisades, and as you all saw, applied tremendous pressure on state and local officials in Pacific Palisades, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, to turn on the water and to direct that water to play.
Like, why isn't Gavin Newsom just like listening to what Trump wants him to do? Like, if he wants the money, like, he needs to listen to what Trump wants him to do.
Places in the south and in the middle of the state that have been incredibly dry, which has led to the expansion, the rapid expansion of these fires.
So could you clarify what the military's role was, where the water came from, and how it got?
DJ ET said DuckDuckGo is my default engine. It's always on point. Yeah, I've grown to see, like, I'm not saying anything about these other search engines, but DuckDuckGo be on point. Like, it's a little bit more fair, I feel like. Williams said it will be interpreted by the Supreme Court, but definitely do some research on the origin of the 14th Amendment.
Again, the Army Corps of Engineers has been on the ground in California to respond to the devastation from these wildfires. And I would point out that just days after President Trump visited the devastation from these fires, the water was turned on. That is because of the pressure campaign he put on state and local officials there who clearly lack all common sense. And I will never forget being at that roundtable with the president last week and hearing.
All right, so 14th Amendment, Constitution of the United States. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. Section 2. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed, but when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president and vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial offices of a state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of male inhabitants of such states, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crimes. The basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state. Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress, or elect a president or vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who have previously taken an oath as a member of Congress, or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of the state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof, but Congress may be a vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability. Section 4. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payments of pensions and bounties for services as suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned, but neither the United States nor any shall assume or pay any debts or obligations incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slaves, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. You know, so I don't know. I think they may be like referring to Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of liberty, life, property without due process of law, or deny to any person within its jurisdiction any equal protections of the law. They can amend that. Section 5. The Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. What y'all think of that?
The frustration in the voices of Pacific Palisades residents who feel as though their government has just gone insane. Before President Trump showed up on the scene, Karen Bass was telling private property owners that they would have to wait 18 months to access their private property. So this administration, the president and his team that's on the ground in California, Rick Grinnell, who he has designated to oversee this great crisis, will continue to put pressure on Karen Bass and state.
Section 1 it's like no state can like take away like your rights to, you know, citizenship or anything. Well, they can't do nothing about it. Well, they can't like take property, liberty, your life away from you or anything without due process. You're a citizen, you're a citizen. That's what it is.
State and local officials to allow residents to access their properties. This is a huge part of it. These residents want to take part in their own clearing out of their properties. They should be able to do that. It's the United States of America. What happened to our freedom? Clearly it's gone in California, but not anymore under President Trump. April.
Caroline, welcome to the briefing room.
Thank you.
Several questions. One on the policy.
All right, y'all. TikTok. I'm about to get out of here. I just wanted to go live because TikTok took my live down. And then TikTok is crazy, bro. Like, why'd y'all do that? So I just saw your crime videos and they're hilarious. Shout out to you, man.
Will minority serving institutions, preferably colleges and universities, have those monies held back temporarily at this moment?
Again, I have not seen the entire list because this memo was just sent out. So I will provide you all with updates as we receive them, okay?
Secondly, secondly, when it comes to immigration, there is this southern border focus. What happens to those who've overstayed their visas? That is part of the broken immigration system. In 2023, there was a report by the Biden administration, Homeland Security Department, that said overstays of visas were 3 times more than usual. Will there be a focus on the overstays for visas as well?
If an individual is overstaying their visa, they are therefore an illegal immigrant residing in this country and they are subject to deportation.
And also lastly, as we're dealing with anti-DEI, anti-woke efforts, we understand this administration is thinking about celebrating Black History Month. Have you got any word on that? Anything that you can offer to us?
As far as I know, this White House certainly still intact.
All right, they don't really have nothing else to say. But shout out to everybody for joining this live. I got some other things to talk about at entertainment. Shout out to everybody. We will be back. You know what I mean? Maybe probably even tonight, like talking about some stuff. You know what I mean? But I got some things I got to do. But shout out to everybody. I'm out, y'all. Peace.